What's up, ladies? I am so excited to talk to you about carbohydrates because this is such a huge topic in the industry right now, primarily with you ladies, right? Not necessarily with trainers, but really with clients and women just wanting to be fit and feeling like information overload. What am I supposed to believe? What is really true? So, let's talk about carbs today. Now, as a reminder, if you're not in our free Facebook group, head on over to Macro Tracking and Weightlifting for Women, where we have a lot of great discussion about different topics, and I give away a ton of free resources as well. Okay, beautiful. Let's talk about carbohydrates. So I have tons of notes and we're going to kind of fly through this. This video is going to be a bit more like scientific, to the point. I know I talked so much about mindset, but I'm going to do my best to really just focus on the logistics and the matter at hand, which is carbohydrates. As a reminder too, ladies, queens of iron, like we absolutely just go by the research. We do not go by influencers and just the noise in the industry. We keep our vision very closely on research, science, data, and facts. Okay. All right. So why do we need carbohydrates? By the way, there is something that I have been wrong about, and I'm going to totally expose myself because we're lifelong learners, right? So I'll talk about that. Okay. So carbohydrates, like you've heard me say a million times, are your primary energy source for thinking, for breathing, for living, for training, especially ladies, for training. That quick energy that we're getting is from carbohydrates. We cannot get that from fat or protein because that's not its design. Your body breaks down carbohydrates into glucose, which is that quick energy that you have. Okay. It's also your main energy source for your tissues, your cells, your organs, things that your body really needs energy for. And so when you are eating low carb, a lot of these areas have issues. Okay. And I won't get ahead of myself. All right. Why else do we need carbohydrates? Carbohydrates control your blood glucose and your insulin when eating the right amount, right? It's also very important to eat the right amount of carbohydrates to avoid diabetes, which might be like, wait a second, I thought eating too much carb could cause that. Of course, everything is important in moderation, right? But you need to be eating carbohydrates to be able to control your blood glucose, okay? Now, here's the other thing. When you're not eating enough carbohydrate, your body isn't going to naturally produce serotonin, which means your mood is not going to be as good and your hunger cues are going to be out of whack. When you don't eat as much carbohydrate, you don't feel as hungry. And some might say, that's an amazing thing. That's part of the reason why I lose fat. It's like, okay, I hear you, but at the same time, how much better would it be to learn healthy habits rather than it's not necessarily restriction, but it's like it's losing fat in a way that's not taking care of our body. And I'll talk more about that. I'm going to talk about keto. And this is one area that I was wrong. I will never agree with keto, but there was one area I was wrong. So I'll talk about that. Okay. Carbohydrates store energy in your liver and in your muscles for later use. So you have it when you need it. If you eat too much carbohydrate, you're not just going to have a ton of stored energy. You're also going to have stored fat. Okay. So your body's going to use the carbohydrate. It's going to store a lot of that energy, carbohydrate, glucose energy in your liver and in your muscles when you need it. When your liver and your muscles have enough and they're like, I don't need any more, I have enough stored energy, then you start to store it as fat, which is overeating. Okay. Here's why we need carbs. Listen, ladies, listen. We need fiber to help with digestion so we don't have GI issues. Is there, fiber in other foods like avocado, which is a fat? Certainly. But the fiber is in the carbohydrate because avocado has a little bit of carbohydrate. So if you're not eating enough carbs, how can you have, yes, show your friends. This is why I'm doing this, ladies. So you can shift your belief to healthy living and really learning to take care of your body and not just fad diets to help you lose weight, because it's like, should we kill ourselves to look pretty? Come on, Okay, so we need fiber to help with digestion. We need carbohydrates for vitamins and minerals. If you're eating too low of carbohydrates, it's very common to have vitamin and mineral deficiencies, because where do a lot of vitamins and minerals come from? Produce, fruits and vegetables. What macro is fruits and vegetables? Carbs, 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 carbs. So by saying, you know what, I shouldn't eat any carbs. It's like, what? So now you're not getting enough fiber. So you're not going to feel very full. Your digestion is not going to be as on point. It might create GI issues. Now you're not getting enough vitamins and minerals. And so now you're feeling tired because you don't have that natural energy. Your body's not functioning how it's supposed to be functioning because it's now in a vitamin and mineral deficiency. Like, these things are not wise. We need healthy carbohydrates to really be taking care of our body. Let me keep going. You need, ladies, listen, you need carbohydrates to recover from your workout, to recover from your lift. You need not just your lift, all your workouts, but we lift, right? You need carbohydrates to recover from your lift. If you don't have enough carbohydrates, you will not be able to recover as well, which means you're going to be fatigued. You're at much higher risk of injury. You're at a higher risk for burnout. You feel sluggish. You feel lethargic because your body doesn't have the quick energy source that it needs, right? To recover and to have energy for your lift, for your training session. So if you're not eating enough carbohydrate, not only are you not recovering well, so you can't lift as often, you're not growing muscle as much or maybe at all, right? Because you're not recovering, but you also don't have the energy to go smash it in the gym, right? Think about if you eat a ton of carbs the night before, like you went out with your friends or your husband or whatever, and you ate a ton of carbohydrate. The next morning, you had an amazing lift. You probably PR'd all of your lifts. Why? Your body had that quick energy source that it needs to smash your lift, okay? And you'll be able to recover. Ladies, think about bodybuilders and think about physique athletes. A ton of them, most of them, eat as many carbs as humanly possible. Why? Their goal is to grow muscle. And to grow muscle, you need energy in the gym and you need energy to recover. Okay. Some physique athletes and bodybuilders eat really high protein. There can be a discussion there. I'm going to go with the carb. Now, with the protein, you feel way more full, certainly. But protein is not our primary energy source. Here's where I was wrong. I thought, and this is really what I read in research. So either it changed or maybe I just didn't read enough, I guess. I'm not really sure, but like, we're all lifelong learners, right? This is why you stay up in the industry. I thought that if you don't eat enough carbohydrate, your body pulls from your protein to convert it to glucose for energy. And if your protein is then depleted, i.e. you're not eating enough protein, your body will pull from your muscle tissue to convert it to glucose. That is true, but I missed a step. And the step is the fight that people who do keto use. So let's talk about it because it's actually really important. Okay, let me skip down. Yeah, all right. Some of you know this, but I want to talk about it and I'm going to read it very clearly, okay? So if you're not eating enough carbohydrate, your body will break down your fat into ketones, okay? Ketones, where's my notes? Ketones is a chemical that your liver produces by breaking down your fat. But high levels of ketone can make your blood really acidic, can be really life-threatening, and it's not good for your body. Ketones can make you feel really lethargic. They make you feel tired. They give you migraines. You feel sluggish, all the things. But here's the problem. One of the problems. Ladies, fat has its own function in our body, right? Fat is vital for hormone function, for healthy hormone function. Fat is vital for healthy hormone function. Fat keeps you warm. Fat gives you long-term sustainable energy. So if you're taking your fat and you're using it to do what carbs are supposed to do, now you don't have enough fat to do what fat is supposed to do. So if and when your carbs and your fat are then depleted, then your body pulls from your protein to create glucose. Then if your protein is depleted, then your body starts breaking down your muscle tissue to get that energy. Because you have to survive, you have to live. We need energy to breathe, to think, to move, right? It's a very extreme case, but I just want you to know the order of things. So that was the key piece that I was missing, but it is still a really inefficient and non-productive way to use fat. Okay, Now, here's the other argument, but two arguments. But for really overweight women, higher fat is better. That's actually true. An endomorph, yes, higher fat is better, but that doesn't mean really low carb. That means a little bit of less carb and a bit higher fat. That is true because their body typically processes fat better. We do that in our company and we believe in extremely high carbohydrate, right? But of course, women who are endomorphs, we definitely do higher fat, lower carbohydrate because their body tends to do better on that. Here's the other argument. My body does better with low carb. When I eat carb, I'm really bloated. Here's why. When you're bloated, it's a few reasons, okay? Number one, food sources. Hello. Food sources, right? Complex carbohydrates are, an easy way to say it is complex carbohydrates are higher in fiber, higher in fiber. Brussels sprouts, asparagus, sweet potato, corn, right? Those healthier carbohydrates. They digest slower, so you have more sustained energy. Simple carbohydrates are also good, some of them, but simple carbohydrates is also where you find your cookies, your cakes, pop, right? It's just sugar, like all the sugar and pop, you know what I'm saying? Soda, whatever you want to call it. But simple carbohydrates is also like a banana. Pre-lift and post-lift, simple carbohydrates, the healthy ones, mango, banana, for example, are amazing because your body gets quick energy and it needs that quick energy, right? But when people say my body doesn't do well on carbs, it's the food quality. The food quality is not very good. You're eating low quality simple carbs and not like fruits, right? Simple carbs. The other thing is portion sizes. So often it comes down to portion sizes, right? It's easy to eat 100 grams of carb in one sitting. It's very hard to eat 100 grams of fat in one sitting, okay? Fat, I mean, it has almost double the or actually has over double the calories, right, as carbohydrate. Carbohydrate has 4 calories per gram. Fat has 9 calories per gram, right? Protein has 4, alcohol has 7, okay? But my point is, it's way easier to overeat carbohydrate. It's way easier to overeat carbohydrate. What happens when you overeat carbohydrate? There's a bunch of glucose and then in your body, and then your cells retain water, and then you feel really fluffy. That's not fat, ladies. That's water retention. It's not that your body doesn't do well with carbohydrates. It's that you either ate too much or you didn't eat the right sources. Now, on the flip side, if you've done something like keto, for example, there is a process of having to reteach your body how to very effectively use and process and use carbohydrates for that quick energy. A lot of you ladies know what reverse dieting is, right? We teach your body how to increase calories so you can eat more and not gain any weight. It's an amazing thing. It brings a lot of health to your metabolism and you have more natural energy and you can grow more muscle mass, right? Because you have more food, aka energy, right? So if you've been eating low carb and then you're like, I'm going to use a calculator and I'm going to eat all the carbs. That is not wise. Yes, you will not feel good at all because it needs to be slow and steady. Like 20 to 25 gram carb increase every 3 weeks, for example. Okay. That's not for everybody. That's just an example. Like slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Okay. Thank you, Army, for that. Very true statement. Okay. All right, ladies, let me keep going. I did want to touch on that though, because it's such a thing. It's like, what about fat? Am I just going to burn all this fat? It's like, but we need fat for other things. Okay. All right, ladies, let's see. What else? What else? Fatigue. So why do we need carbohydrates? Fatigue. Without eating enough carbohydrates, you're going to feel super tired and you're going to feel cranky and you're going to feel weak. Cool. So if you're not eating enough carbohydrates, you won't get as strong because like I shared earlier, you're not going to recover as well. But also you don't have as much energy in the gym to break down your muscle to then have protein come rebuild it. Right? It's not breaking down as much. You don't have as much energy. You can't lift as heavy. You can't push as hard mentally or physically because you're mentally fatigued without the carbohydrate too. Why? Ladies, because our brain's primary fuel source, how it functions optimally is carbohydrate. It is carbohydrate. Okay. Cool. Low carb diets can put stress on the body and jack up your cortisol levels. That's fun when you're trying to lose fat. False, right? It makes it much harder to lose fat because your body is in a stressed state. Cool. All right, great. Okay. Actually, I talked so much about this already. Yep. So, why do people lose weight when they're eating low carbohydrate? You're eating less. You're eating less. Like I shared, it's really easy to eat 100 grams of carb in one sitting. Someone's like, I could never do that. Track your food. I know you can do that. That's why everyone's overweight, or why so many people in the world are overweight. You can eat so much carb in one sitting, way more than protein and way more than fat. It's not a bash on anybody. I can too, right? We all can. Another reason, you're way more aware of your food because you're saying no to carbohydrate. You're saying no to a lot of junk food. Yeah, you're going to lose weight. But carbs are not the enemy, ladies. It's habits. It's habits, right? One macronutrient does not cause fat gain. It's overeating food that's causing fat gain, right? So let's not attack one macro. Oh, I cut out all my carbs though, and I lost weight. You did, love, because you were eating less food. Okay. You're eating less junk. Yeah, it's the habits. All right. Cool. So let me give one more snippet of complex carbs and simple carbs. So complex carbs, higher fiber, which helps with digestion, slower digesting, keep you fuller longer, longer lasting energy, packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Really good. Here's a few examples: oatmeal, beans, berries, corn, sweet potato, asparagus, and so on. Simple carbohydrate, easy, quick digesting, readily available energy: bananas, white rice, bread, honey, junk food. Okay. All right, cool. Ladies, what do you think about this? If you have questions, if you have comments, thoughts, tell me. Let's talk through it, okay? We really advocate on healthy living, feeding our body with what it needs to meet the demands of our lifestyle and to meet the demands of our training. And it just cannot be done with lack of carbohydrate. I don't know if y'all remember, but remember when keto first came out and all these CrossFit athletes started going to the hospital? Why did that happen? They were not fueling their body with what they needed, especially with CrossFit. It is like high intensity. You need instant, quick energy. That will not do that. You need the carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is that, right? It is that readily available, quick digesting, well, in some cases, besides complex carbs, energy source, okay? All right, I created a free resource for you all about carbohydrates to help you understand them better. I'll have a lot of what I talked about here written out. I'll have other videos I've talked about on carbs. I'll have like carb sources for you to look at. If you want that, it's totally free. Just comment carbs below and I will get that to you as soon as I can, okay? Oftentimes we have a lot of comments, so bear with me. I will get to you. I promise I will never forget you. Sometimes it just takes me a little bit, and Facebook restricts how much I send. So if you see another profile with my name sending you the resource, it's me too. It's just so I can get them out to all of you ladies, okay? Okay, amazing. I hope this was helpful, and I hoped it gave you the permission, if you feel like you need it, to be able to say, okay, wait, carbs are actually really good for me and really necessary for a healthy life, to be fit and toned and high energy and feel amazing. Carbs are necessary, but like every other macro, you definitely need the right sources and the right portion sizes for your body. Okay. All right, ladies. Have an amazing day. I hope that was helpful. I'll talk to you later.